everyone just about got in. Thank you for joining us this evening. Computing Science Week Scotland, really exciting week. There's been lots going on so far, and it's only Tuesday, but you have come along to one of the most fun sessions, and I can say that hand on heart because you're going to have lots of wee opportunities to try out some fun activities tonight. So just a wee bit of listening and then we'll go on with the play along. So the title of this session is An Introduction to Computational Thinking, and it's based around the resources from Barefoot Computing. Now, the aim of Computing Science Week is to celebrate Scotland's achievements and engagements with computing science and education, and it gives us an opportunity to highlight a wide range of creative, playful and purposeful experiences, fun experiences that computing science can offer across all levels of curriculum for excellence. And I forgot to say at the start, my name is Eva. I'm one of the digital education officers in the team here at Education Scotland, and I'm being joined as well tonight by my lovely colleague Louise Foreman. So Louise is going to keep an eye on the chat. Feel free at any time to pop some questions in if there's anything you want to ask us. The session is also being recorded, so if you lose connection or if you have to dash off for any reason, do not worry, we will send you a link to the recording via the Eventbrite email that you used to sign up, and we'll also send you a link to the slides with all the presenters' notes, and feel free to download them, edit them, reuse them, do whatever it is that you need to do with them to share the message all about computational thinking. So what is computational thinking? It's about learning to solve problems with or without a computer. And developing computational thinking skills is central to our curriculum in early learning and childcare and primary and beyond. But it can also be applied across everyday life and across all other subjects, including maths, science, literacy and PE. And after the discussions that we have tonight, I think you'll be recognising where computational thinking strategies are being used in the world all around you. So computational thinking is a process of understanding and solving problems. It's a systematic process that encourages breaking a problem into smaller parts and identifying key elements and discarding the parts that are unimportant, and then building a solution in a logical, ordered way. So it's quite similar to mathematical thinking, and there's a lot of research behind linking the two together. So computational thinking is about looking at a problem in a way in which a computer can help us to solve it. It's a two-step process. So first we need to think about the steps that we need to solve the problem. Then we use our technical skills to get the computer working on the problem. So for example, in an animation, you would first plan the story, and then you would use the computer, whether it be the hardware or the software, or both, to create the animation. And when you're creating the animation of a story, you would think about the sequence of events. So computational thinking is not thinking about computers or like computers, because computers don't think for themselves. And there's loads of opportunities to embed these kind of concepts and approaches creatively in your curriculum, especially in numeracy and maths learning. And a wee example, instead of learners trying to work out a route in, say it's a maths textbook exercise, they could use a directional card. They could then pretend that they are, the robot or the bee-bot or whatever it is in that context, and they could pretend to program each other. So if you have programmable devices, you will know probably what I'm talking about, but if not, do not worry, because we're not going to touch on any of those tonight, but I will show you where you can find out more about them. So computational thinking is about learners' abilities to identify sequences and steps in a process. It's about classifying and grouping objects and identifying patterns and similarities between objects. From early to first level learners, we should be developing the ability to begin to follow step-by-step instructions and make logical decisions in a logical way. So where is computational thinking in our curriculum, within Curriculum for Excellence? So within the technologies curriculum, there are 4 experience and outcomes for computing science, and that is split into 3 organisers. So we've touched on the first one, all about logical problem solving. The second one, understanding and analysing computing technology. That's all about how computing science works in the world around us. You know, where are the computers? What is a computer? What's inside this? What's inside the machine? What makes things work? And then designing, building and testing computing solutions. So this is about programming. This is where maybe your B-bots and programmable devices come into it. But please do notice on the experience and outcome, the word equivalent is here. So this means using absolutely anything. And at the very end, I'm going to show you the Computing Science Scotland Week challenge that we have set for the early level, and it's really, really open-ended and really, you know, stresses that you do not need any type of programmable devices to run and develop a sequence of codes. Okay, so we're now going to dip into some of the wonderful Barefoot learning materials. If you have not discovered these yet, please do, when you get a chance, go on to Barefoot Computing and register, and you can access all the resources for absolutely free, and everything is mapped to the curriculum as well. So you can search for early level learners in the Scottish curriculum and it'll pull up all the relevant resources for that stage. Now, during the activities we've got coming up, we're going to be using some of this language, and this poster is a free download from Barefoot Computing. The computational thinking poster outlines key concepts on one side and the key approaches on the other side. The concepts are about the subject knowledge that learners need to understand, such as the scary word algorithm. We're going to come to that soon. And approaches are the skills and behaviours that learners need to develop to succeed, like perseverance. Thanks, Louise. The approaches probably will seem quite familiar to you, but some of the concepts of computational thinking might be quite new. So computational thinkers use a mixture of concepts and approaches to tackle problem solving. And what's really great about this poster is it's a super memory jogger to remind us that we can be using this language, you know, across all contexts of learning. It's really great transferable language. You know, for example, here's a broken telephone, you know, within our home corner. Can we tinker with it to find out what's inside? You know, can we play with it? Can we break it down? Can we have a look? So it's all about having the time, the space and the freedom to be curious to find out how things work. Okay, so algorithm. Here's the first word. An algorithm is a set of instructions or rules or a list that makes something. So I think last night we gave the example of the order of the actions and the movements in the hokey cokey. That's an algorithm. How about if you're making Play-Doh or making a sandwich? Do you have a pictorial step-by-step guide in order to do that? What about the order that we dress ourselves in every day? You know, computational thinking is in the world all around us, and an algorithm is nothing more than a set of instructions or rules that makes something in its simplest form. And through this activity, we're going to find out, we can see what an algorithm is, we can use an algorithm, and we're going to find out if we can improve our algorithm as well. So this is where we need a pen and paper, pencil, crayon, it might be a mobile device with a touch screen, absolutely anything at all. I'll just give you a second to get that organised. And this activity comes directly out of the Barefoot resources. You can use this with your colleagues to try and explain a wee bit more about computational thinking to them and show them how simple the resources can be. You can also use this activity with your learners too. Okay, so it's called the Crazy Character Algorithm. You may have seen it before if you've done any sort of sessions in computing science or have engaged with any of the Barefoot materials before. You probably will recognise it. It's a very popular activity. So pens at the ready. Can everyone please draw a triangular body? And then can everyone please add 3 eyes? And then 3 wings, 3 legs please, then a tail, and that is our finished algorithm. So what I would like you to do now, if you can please, is to turn on your cameras if you're comfortable to do that. We are recording this session, so it's entirely up to you, but if you are, please do turn on your cameras and hold up, let us see your crazy character algorithms. Or you could add it in the chat if you wish. Okay, I can see one there, thanks Susan. Okay, so fairly similar, but there's not one there that's exactly the same, is there? Now, does anyone know why? We all followed the same instruction. But how did we interpret that instruction? We all interpreted them slightly different, didn't we? Because the instructions weren't precise. It asked us to draw a circle. This is another example, this one, a circle, 2 eyes, a crown, wings and 4 legs. Exactly in the comments, but you were not specific with the size or the position, you know, or was it to go the eyes to go at the top or the eyes to go at the bottom? Yeah, we all used our imagination, because that's what we're good at, isn't it? We're very creative. There's never you know, an end product that all must look the same. When we evaluated algorithm, we worked out that it needs to be improved to make it more effective. So what we were doing there, we were debugging the algorithm. We were picking it apart to find out what didn't quite go right, where were the errors, and what could we do to fix them. So debugging is a key word there. Yeah, so instead of adding 3 eyes, we could have been a bit more precise and said, okay, let's add 3 circular eyes to the front of the body, you know, at the top of the body. So essentially, algorithms should be precise so that any 2 people or any 2 computers could follow them and produce exactly the same output. So well done, thanks everybody for taking part. So algorithms are all around us. Think about a planting activity, making a sandwich like we suggested earlier, getting dressed. Can we encourage children to spot the algorithms in the world around us and begin to start using the language that we saw in the poster? We covered all the concepts in the activity there, and we explored tinkering when we determined that there's no one crazy character that could look the same following that algorithm. We had a think about the algorithm and we debugged it to find the errors, and then we tinkered with it to make it more precise. Now, most of you that have signed up, I'm sure, are working with early level learners, and you will know that children love to spot mistakes, especially when it's an adult that's made a mistake. So mix up algorithms, you know, put things in the wrong order and invite the children to tinker, to debug them and tinker with them and tell you where you've gone wrong. So you might want to explore an algorithm that's really familiar to the children, like, you know, getting dressed for a rainy day, and you might want to, you know, put your welly boots on and then put your socks on top of it, or, you know, put your jacket on and then try and put your jumper on top of it. Or when you're baking a cake, you know, you might want to have a play around and, you know, putting icing on before it's gone into the oven to be baked. All of these sort of creative opportunities for children to follow step-by-step instructions are so important. It helps them to make logical decisions, it helps them to group information and sequence, which is all at the heart of computational thinking. Okay, so our next activity, this time we're going to be looking at the concept abstraction. So this is all about including and ignoring information. And this is the activity that will come in handy if you've got some Play-Doh or some blue tack or some plasticine, or, you know, something that you can mould. And the aims of this activity is to understand and see what's important and what detail that we must include, and what is unimportant, what can we ignore. and then working towards, I can see how a computer simulation or game uses these ideas. Okay, everybody, can you think of an animal or a creature of some description, but don't tell us. And I will tell you when the 30 seconds are up. So an animal, no worms or snakes, model it. Think about the concepts there of abstraction. What's the important details? What do I want to show and what do I want to miss out? What have I got time for? We're at 24 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Feel free, please turn on your cameras and let us have a wee look at your models. Oh, very, very artistic. We've got a dolphin. Am I right? Anyone else like to show us? Who else? Who's going to be brave? Pop your camera on and let us see.
I think I was right with the seal.
Oh yeah, yeah. Of course, dolphins. Yeah, of course. Oh my goodness. I wouldn't be very good at this, would I? Okay, we're going to do the same again, but this time we're only going to have 10 seconds. So again, same activity, but this time choose a different animal, creature. No worms or snakes, please. And I am going to use a timer on my phone this time. Okay, so ready, steady, go. 3, 2, 1. There we are. Feel free now again to share your screens, please, and let us see your beautiful creations this time that you managed in 10 seconds.
I'm going to have to take my background off just so you can actually see.
Let's see, Louise. Oh yes, Sina, yeah, great. Super duper. And Louise has shown us that we can also do this activity with, you know, pens and paper as well, drawing too. Well, have we got a rabbit? I'm not sure. I'm not very good at this. It looks like it could. It's got big bunny ears.
That's a rabbit.
Yeah, got to be, isn't it? Yeah, thumbs up. We're right. Good stuff. Okay. So
what do you think mine is though?
Was it a bumblebee?
It is a bumblebee!
Yay! And I promise we didn't know that. We've not spoke about this before. I promise. Great, so thanks everybody. So abstraction's all about working out what's important and ignoring what's not so important. It's all about simplifying things. It's about identifying what's important without worrying too much about all the details. So it allows us to manage complexity. And in this activity, children abstract as they identify what can be ignored and what's important about the items that they're drawing or modelling. They're also considering what is ignored or included in computer simulations and games they know as they move further up the curriculum. And this activity can also be achieved, like Louise showed us there, by drawing, painting, or anything that you have access to that you can create with. So whatever your children are currently interested in, whether it be, you know, transient art, loose parts, whatever at all is fitting with your context and the interests of the children. Okay, so I'm certain that you will have recognised quite a few of the concepts and approaches, but you maybe just didn't use those names. And this is a slide that I've used in previous computing science sessions that practitioners have commented is helpful and reassuring. We're all creatively solving everyday problems through computational thinking strategies. And what I'm trying to put across here is, you know, look, if you look at the pictures, this is learning across the curriculum. There's nothing here that, you know, is screaming out to you, oh, computing science, you know, there's no devices there at all, no computers, no sign of a computer there, but the skills, the concepts and approaches that we use are transferable. Now, does anybody recognise this little screenshot? There's a quote here about confidence, creativity and curiosity. You might be aware the word creativity has popped up quite a lot in this session. It's one of the most sought after skills at present in the world of work, and it's a skill that as early years practitioners is central to all the opportunities and experiences that we provide and facilitate for our young children. And I'm sure you will all recognise it's from realising the ambition being me. Technology is in the world all around us, and computing science and computational thinking is really central to our daily lives. Throughout this session, we think you'll recognise that you're already embedding computing science through play without even realising it. The environment, the daily interactions and the experiences you provide for children in your care, those concepts in the previous slide, will be at the heart of it all. So playing, exploring, discovering, making, building, designing, fixing, problem solving, persevering, helping each other, working together. That's what we do day in, day out. So how do we ensure our children are growing up to be creative thinkers and problem solvers? Just what we've said there, we provide them with the opportunity, the time and the space to explore and experiment. And I'm going to play this short video clip that really sums that up nicely.
Imagine the awesomest thing you can, like an automatic grilled cheese maker, or a time machine, or a time machine with an automatic grilled cheese maker. Now imagine who's going to invent it. Him? Glasses here? Whoever they are? Or maybe her? But how do kids like these become the types of people that do things like this? Maybe we should ask this guy.
Knowledge is heavy. Sometimes it's a limit to have new ideas. That's the problem with the old schooling, because they were teaching answers. I believe questions are probably more important today than the answers.
Erno's cube is a question waiting to be answered. And when the right person finds the right question, something amazing happens. They start seeing the world as it truly is. Not a place to be memorized, but a place to be figured out, flipped, turned, twisted, and ultimately made better, forever. Today, she may be an octopus, but help kids like her fall in love with problem solving, and they will embark on journeys to become scientists, artists, engineers, designers, inventors, or something no one's ever been before, but you can bet we're gonna need. That's why moments like this, go, and this, and especially this, are so important. Because there are companies to found, planets to walk on, time machines to invent, a future to be made amazing. We may not know what it's going to look like, but we know who's going to do it.
That's been one of my favourite videos for years. I'm sure you would agree too, Louise. There's nothing that's came along yet to beat that one. Super inspirational.
Imagine the...
And another quick video here, no sound on this one, I'll just talk over it. Our computing science support is available on our Digilane blog, our computing science blog, and this is just a wee example of what it looks like. So we have learning pathways, and behind that tile there are recorded sessions from previous webinars that look at all the experiences and outcomes in much more detail. And there's some nice examples of practice from other schools and other nurseries in there as well. So please do feel free to have a wee look on that if you want to know a wee bit more about computing science, and all the links are in the slide notes. Okay, now just before we finish up, you may be aware that it is Computing Science Scotland Week this week, and there have been quite a few sessions going on. We had a really super exciting session yesterday morning, our launch session with the founder of the Scratch Collaborative. So we had Mitch Resnick on yesterday morning, and that has been recorded. If you get a chance, have a wee look at that recording again. That was a really inspirational session. But just before we finish up, I wanted to draw your attention to the challenge for our early level learners that I mentioned at the very start of the session. Just give that a wee second and I shall zoom in and let you see it. But essentially it's a really open-ended challenge. As she says, it's taken a wee while to load, but what it's telling you there is, imagine a shiny new recycling robot from the National Robotarium has arrived at your nursery or school, and it's going to help you recycle. What would it look like? Can you reach into your imagination and show this by designing or creating a recycling robot of your own? And really open-ended, you know, there's no limit to what you might use to design this robot. But then the part 2 is, there's a problem. The Robotarium packed this recycling robot up and posted it off too soon by mistake. And it hasn't been programmed with the algorithm, so it doesn't know what to do. So can you work together to create an algorithm, a series of instructions, between 5 and 10 instructions that would tell the robot what to do? So there's lots of fun here, and it may just be purely through role play. They may not, they may decide not to make anything. They might just want to pretend that they are a recycling robot. There's no limitations on this one. And then the ask is that a short video could be captured of the children talking about their recycling robot and talking about their algorithm. So do feel free to have a wee look at that and take part and share your learning with us if you are able to. And that is it from us. So don't worry too much about filling out the